Hey everyone, so we're going to try this painting behind me. This is a nice little farm scene that I've seen many times. Got my gear set up here. I'm actually right along the road here. You can see the nice guardrail here that hopefully keep me safe from traffic, but hence the way it is. The challenge today is going to be, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but the sky, there's quite a few clouds. And when I had started out, the sky was pretty clear, but as I got out here, the clouds are moving in. It's very hot and humid. We're supposed to get some thunderstorms this afternoon, so we'll see if I can get this done. Here is my plein air setup here. See if I can get this done before the storm kicks in. But the challenge of this scene is going to be the changing light conditions, is what happens a lot when you're plein air painting. And I think I'm going to make this scene more about the sky and have the horizon line pretty low in the on the canvas here. And that's something too, when you're painting on a day where there's constantly changing light, one of the key things is to maybe focus on the sky. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try it with a limited palette. Right now I just have titanium white, which is starting to slide down here, and then we have cadmium yellow light, cadmium red, and I'm trying cobalt blue. A lot of times I might try ultramarine blue, but I'm going to try cobalt blue this time and see how that works. Now, I can always add more colors onto my palette if need be, but I'd like to try this with a limited palette, which I used to paint with a lot, and it's a really good teacher using a limited palette. So let's get started. Alright, so let's get started with some mineral spirits, and I think actually I'm going to draw this out first. I'm going to grab a smaller brush, a number 2 bristle brush, grab some cobalt blue, a little bit of red, and a little bit of yellow. And let's sketch out our composition. Composition is pretty flat. Let's make that a little more interesting. Let's put that on a slight hill. Just ever so slight if we can get away with it. And I want the barn to be off to one side. So let's put it on this side. We're just going to draw a simple box. We're not going to worry about getting the barn exactly how it is. We're going to keep this nice and loose. And the reason why I'm putting the barn over here instead of on the other side is because the interesting outbuildings are over here too. Let's put the roof on. By the way, if you like this video, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, question below. And the way I do it with my videos is I show the general YouTube public the first 20 minutes roughly, something like that. And then I switch over for the rest of it for my Patreon subscribers only. I do that because their generous support helps keep me going. If you want to watch the videos in their entirety, not just this, but a bunch of my other plein air videos, my recent ones, click on the link below, become a Patreon subscriber. $5 a month. You support me and you get to see all my videos in their entirety without commercials. Also, I teach live online painting classes. That's a different thing. I do that through my oil painting at home courses. And there we go really in depth. I have 3 different membership levels, which gives you access to 3 different types of learning experiences. There's should be a link below for that as well. So check that out if you're interested. I have very limited seating in the live classes where we meet live every Saturday. almost every Saturday. And there's 5 Saturdays in a month, we take a Saturday off. But anyway, seating's limited and student retention is very high. And I have a lot of students that have to leave for scheduling reasons that do end up coming back. Also, we just have a lot of fun. Painting's a lonely business, and so it's a great way too to get together with other people from the comfort of your own living room, studio, wherever you paint. Okay, so back to this. So I have something in here. Now, if you notice in the scene, we got this big pine tree right here. And we have a big tree over here, which leaves kind of a gap. And we got some trees over here. I don't know if I like that or not. We got a big cloud moving over us now. So I'm going to try to recompose this scene in a manner that I think is a little bit more pleasing. Let's make the darkest dark that we can get with a limited palette, which is going to be mostly cobalt and cadmium red. This is cadmium red medium, by the way. The great thing about using a very limited palette like this is that it will teach you a lot about color and manipulating color and how color actually works. I think I need a little more green in that. Now, if I want a really dark, I could always switch to cobalt. But I'm sorry, not cobalt, but ultramarine, because ultramarine is a darker value blue. But because this scene is kind of far away from us, I don't want a super dark value in this. I want there to be a little bit of air between us. Now, right now, I'm not so much concerned about whether I'm replicating the scene exactly. I'm going more for an abstract look, something that's pleasing to look at, shape-wise. And you can see I basically moved the evergreen tree over here, but I'm not even going to be so much worried about whether it appears as an evergreen tree. I'm using these darks to bring out the buildings, but as you can see, I'm even painting over some of those buildings right now. So to keep this scene interesting, let's make one tree dominant. Can have another tree be a little higher up, or a couple trees maybe, but let's make one tree dominant. Let's also try not to make 1, 2, 3 like evenly apart there. All right, so it's gonna look different than what we're seeing out there, but hey, that's our job. Okay, we're getting our sun back, which is good. Tell you, if you have problems with greens too, mixing greens on your palette, your greens end up looking too unnatural, try a limited palette like this. Because I'll tell you what, my greens, when I was struggling with greens, they got so much better when I dropped green off my palette. Now, I don't normally paint like this anymore, but like I said, I did for a number of years. Okay, we just lost our sun again. So with our sun being gone, I think what I'm going to do is jump to the sky. And this is the beauty of having the sky be the dominant thing on a day like this. It's because that's not going to be changed nearly as much by the conditions of a partly cloudy day. So I'm going to go for the cloud shadows first. Want to keep this as clean as I can. Right now we're just using white, cobalt, and cadmium red. Let's go further back. I'm going to go a little heavier on the white and the blue. Want to be careful that I don't get that green up in the sky. I kind of did. Okay, let's go a little heavier on the red and the blue. Maybe even just a touch of yellow to slightly neutralize it as we get a little bit closer in the sky here. So my plan is to basically block in most of the sky with the cloud shadows and then go over that with thicker paint with the whites of the clouds and also the blue in any openings that will show the blue of the sky. Let's wipe that off with a paper towel. Big, huge clouds over our scene. Another thing too with partly cloudy days like this, another thing that I realize that helps is try not to paint things that have a lot of form in them, a lot of complex form that's affected by the light. So in other words, I wouldn't want to paint this barn really close up with all kinds of intricate little doors, windows, outbuildings and that are really close, that are heavily dominated by the effect of direct sunlight on them versus overcast, okay? Or say something like a still life, okay? That'd be murderous to paint on a day like this. But painting something further back, and this is mostly in sunlight when the sun is out, okay? That's going to be a lot easier to paint than something that has tons of intricate form that you can see. You can't see a lot of intricate form on this because we're further back. That's one of the reasons why I chose a scene like this. So when the sun does hit this, I'm going to be able to gauge everything a lot clearer and a lot easier and block it in quicker than if I was, like I said, up close and personal. So partly cloudy days, try to do more vista scenes that have very simple architecture, very simple shapes to grab onto. It's going to make your painting day a lot better than if you're trying to do up close, intimate, intricately formed subjects. So right now there's no sun yet on the scene. It's almost there. Actually the sun is out. I just looked a minute ago and it wasn't, now it is. So let's get in this foreground, these Not sure if it's a crop or what it is. Just starting out with some white, yellow, cadmium yellow light, and cadmium red medium. And the sun's going from it already. Normally I wouldn't even bother painting on a day like this, but I'm committed, so. Okay, since that's still in shadow, let's go in and do some more of the sky. I'm hoping for a big opening here soon, but until I get it, there's no sense in me making it up. So I want to get some of the whites of the clouds in. These whites are pretty warm, so we're using titanium white, cadmium yellow light, and cadmium red. Let's add a little bit more white, just in a couple spots. Now as we go further back, the clouds actually get a little darker and a little warmer. So we're going to go with a little more cadmium red and yellow. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here and switch to Patreon only. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like. This has a ways to go. If you want to see the finished product, become a Patreon supporter, $5 a month. Click on the link below. Love to have you. It really supports me, and we'll see you again.